everybody. This is attorney Arkady Frekhtman. I'm a New York City personal injury trial attorney, and today I'm actually in South Carolina. I'm in Kiawa Island. It's a very pretty island. You can see behind me. I could show you perhaps some of the view. Take a look. Give me 1 second. This is some of the view. There's a marsh, and it's a barrier island, so you have a view of the bay. And then on the other side is the ocean, and it's a really nice resort. I even went swimming today. It's a little chilly, like 62 degrees, but I braved it and dove in. Really cool place. So we're here for spring break. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today is an interesting topic. It's actually based on another video that I watched on YouTube, and the video was entitled, "Why Personal Injury Lawsuits Are Tough or Difficult." And the number one reason, I don't know if it's the number one reason, but it was the first reason listed in the video. And the attorney mentioned that the fact that the jury does not know if the defendant has to pay money if you win out of their own pocket, right? The jury is not allowed to know if the defendant, if the person you're suing, has insurance, because you can't mention insurance in a courtroom. If you mention the word insurance, oftentimes you'll get a mistrial. So you're not allowed to do that. So this lawyer felt that the jury may feel guilty in thinking that this poor, let's say, little old lady ran a red light and hit someone, and the person she hit has to have a fusion. Now the jury may be thinking, wow, this poor little old lady, Mildred, she's gonna have to pay $5 million because she hit this guy. She didn't mean to do it. You know, she's not a bad person. Maybe she volunteers at the local community center, you know, but she hit this person, and now this person has a fusion surgery. Let's say they have a herniated disc. They're going to need another fusion surgery. The case may be worth $5 million or more. And the jury may feel guilty that poor little old Mildred is going to have to pay this money. But in reality, this is just a ploy by the insurance industry, a billion-dollar corporate industry. And so I don't really think this is such a problem in personal injury lawsuits. And there's an easy way to get around it. And the way to get around this is to start in jury selection. So when you're picking a jury, right, what you need to do is you need to anticipate what the defense is going to do. So you get to go first as the plaintiff's attorney, right? And what you could do is you could say, look, you cannot have, speaking to the jurors, you could say you are not allowed to have sympathy for the plaintiff, right? Because if you have pity or you feel sympathy for the person suing and you base your verdict only on sympathy, that's something that the judge will instruct you is not allowed. You can't do that. And we agree with that. You shouldn't do that. Don't base your verdict on sympathy, base it on the evidence. And in the same way, you can't have sympathy for the defendant. But if you start thinking about things that are outside the box, right? You could even draw, if the judge will allow you, sometimes you could draw just on a whiteboard, on an easel, a box. And you could say, look, certain things are inside the box, and that is the law and the evidence. And certain things are outside the box, like speculation, conjecture, guessing, assuming. So you may think that you may have sympathy for the defendant because these thoughts could come into your mind, right? Who is going to pay for this verdict? This may be many millions of dollars may be needed. The law and the evidence may justify many millions of dollars to compensate the injured plaintiff. Who is going to pay for it? Is it going to be this defendant, poor little old Mildred? And so that's something that you can't consider because your job isn't to write a check and to even think about how the verdict gets paid, if it gets paid. Your job is only, the jury's job is only to put a value on what all of the harms, all of the losses, all of the damages, the loss of enjoyment of life, the lost earnings, the lost salary, the lost wages, the future medical bills, the pain and suffering, the mental anguish, all of that. What is that worth? Put a value on it. It's almost like you're an appraiser. And if you're appraising a house, Do you think about who is going to pay? Who's going to buy the house? If the house is worth, let's say, $10 million, it's a beautiful house. It's in a good location, like, on the water like this, or on the beach, and it's a beautiful house. It could be worth $10 million. Are you going to say, you know what? I'm worried about who's going to buy it, whether the person who wants to buy it can't afford it, so I'm going to make it worth less? No, you're going to say what it really is worth. And the same thing here. Your job is only to put a value on it. And then you have to speak to the jury and say, can you do that? How do you feel about that? And get them talking. And if they say, yes, we can do that, then you want those jurors. And if they say no, that would, I couldn't set that feeling aside. I would think about how this poor little old lady, Mildred, is going to pay this verdict. And I can't, no matter what the judge says, no matter what you say, no matter what evidence I see during the trial, no matter the doctors, no matter what, I'm still going to think about that in the back of my mind. Well, then you have to excuse them for cause, and you have unlimited cause challenges. So it's very important to do that. Now, if you do that properly, you get rid of all those jurors, and now you've already kind of, breached this topic. You could still maybe bring it up. I mean, you could allude to it. You can't say the word insurance, but you could allude to it. You could say, like, why do they have this lady here? Are they using her as a pawn? Why is she here in the courtroom? Think about it. And people know, I mean, come on. People know so many ads. You're in good hands with Allstate, the Gecko, State Farm, Progressive. You have that Mo or whatever her name is. You have so many, Liberty Mutual. State Farm now has all the quarterbacks, right? The guy from I believe the guy who won the Super Bowl, other famous athletes. So they know there's insurance. It's just the elephant in the room, right? So yeah. So I don't think that's such a problem. But I think it's really important for the lawyer to deal with it. See, because if you don't deal with it, if you just kind of don't say anything and just do it the old school way, it's going to come and it's going to bite you. It's going to bite you hard. You could lose the entire case because of it. So it's very, very important to hire a lawyer that knows how to deal with these issues and that isn't afraid to be a little bit vulnerable and to discuss these issues openly and to be upfront with them. So, yeah, so that's how I would deal with that issue. So, yeah, and let us know what you think about it. Let us know if that's one of the worries. If you have a case, maybe that's one of the worries that your lawyer has. Maybe that's one of the worries you have. It depends on the jurisdiction. It depends on the venue. But I think that's a good way to deal with it. Okay, let us know what you think. Have a great day. And we are here for you. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye.